The greatest strength of our program, I believe, is our firm system. It was adopted well over 40 years ago, and it's been a structure that we have absolutely held on to dearly. It's a structure through which we do everything in our program, and it has multiple benefits which we think are uniquely beneficial to our residents. The first is a benefit socially, the second is a benefit to training, and the third is a benefit for our patients as well. The structure itself is pretty easy to understand now that Harry Potter's been out for so long. It is essentially analogous to that. I like to note that the firm system actually predates Harry Potter, however. We have 4 firms. And when residents join the program, they become part of a firm, and they stay with that firm truly lifelong. In fact, if I meet people even 20 years after they finish this program, their first question is, which firm were you? It becomes an identity for everyone that comes through this program. The core experience that you have as an intern is your time in the Osler Medical Service. And the structure of that service is 4 interns at a time, 2 senior residents, and an assistant chief of service or a chief resident. But if you imagine 4 interns at a time, 13 of you on the firm, and you do the Osler Medical Service about 5 months out of the year, these become individuals with whom you work extremely closely and longitudinally through the year. The second bond, besides intern-intern, that becomes very, very close is that between the intern and their assistant chief of service. So our assistant chiefs of service are chief residents that you're familiar with in the program that you're part of. There are 2 main differences. One is that our assistant chiefs of service or chief residents are individuals that finish training and they've started the next phase of their career, and then they return to this role after a year. So they bring to this role a different set of experiences. Perhaps the greatest difference between our chief residents and those of most programs is that they are attending for their firm virtually the entire year. So as you go through this internship experience and you have the opportunity, the privilege really, of sitting in front of someone and explaining to them that you can help them. It's this one person, this ACS, that has taught you how to help them. At the same time, when you have the privilege really, but very challenging situation of sitting in front of someone and their family and explaining to them that you can't help them. It's this ACS that sits next to you every single time and teaches you how to have that conversation in a compassionate way. It's this one person that takes you through this year, that leads you through this year, and that models for you what it is to be a physician. We are able, because of the firm system, to individually train you and personalize your experience throughout residency. And that's an opportunity that we think is invaluable. All of you have done rotations in medicine, and the most common structure is that you have an attending for 2 weeks. In fact, more and more, these are becoming 1 week. And so you spend a few days getting to know one another, you work with one another, and then very quickly that time drops off, and you may never work with this person again throughout your training. Here, you work with one person most of the year and longitudinally throughout the entire year. So they know you better than anyone in this entire hospital. They will know your strengths, they'll know what you want to work on, they'll know what you enjoy, they'll know what you avoid, and they will bring that to you. They are responsible for your training for the entire year. And so the opportunity to personally train you, to individually train you, is incredibly important, because from your perspective, I imagine the next 3 years feels like a really long time. It is the snap of a finger by the time it's over. And so it is essential that we take advantage of every single day that you're here and stretch you. And the only way to do that is to have different goals for you and different training for you than for the intern sitting next to you. This is what the firm system allows us to do. And finally, the last benefit is the patient care benefit. So our patients are, many are from inner city Baltimore and the areas and neighborhoods around our hospital, and they are either underinsured or uninsured and have care that is under-resourced. It is incredibly important that we are able to provide coordination and continuity of care, particularly to this vulnerable group of people. And the firm system allows us to do that. So when a patient comes in and they're admitted to the firm, they become part of that firm. And if they happen to be a patient that has chronic medical conditions that decompensate through the year, every time they return, they come back to that firm. So we are able to provide them care from the same small subset of physicians every single time that they're here. And so throughout the year, you get to know these patients incredibly well, and you're able to coordinate their care and understand their situation beyond this one episode. And we link that also to the outpatient space. So if you're part of one firm in the inpatient space, you're going to be part of that firm, and those physicians will care for you in the clinic as well. And we think this is a benefit that is unique and very important for our most vulnerable patients.